Hello. Every week I put a new card to give us a new theme, and then we use it for reflection and relaxation practices over the week. So the card that I've pulled this week is the Emperor, which is usually a card about power and authority. So it'll be useful to think about how those themes relate to you in your life. The Emperor is often associated with leadership, structure, and power. And sometimes, when you hear these words, you think straight away about leadership or power over others. But the first place that leadership really matters is closer to home. I think it's about how you lead your own life. Most of us have learned different patterns around authority and control. Maybe you grew up in an environment where authority was overwhelming or rigid or difficult to question. And maybe you just learnt that staying small was easier. Or maybe control became something that made you feel safe. So you responded by holding very tightly to control, and then other people respond by avoiding control altogether. But neither approach allows for a lot of freedom if it's out of balance. So the Emperor, this card that we're looking at this week, invites a different position. It's a sort of steadier, balanced position. It's a place where you recognize your own authority in your life without becoming rigid or defensive or closed. And that kind of leadership begins with knowing yourself honestly. So knowing what helps you move forward, knowing the patterns that might be holding you back. So I think it's an interesting theme for us to think about this week. And if it resonates with you and you'd like to do any journaling, then here are some questions that might prompt you, that might help you. How comfortable am I with taking leadership of my own life? Do I tend to over-control things or avoid responsibility? And what patterns around authority or control might I have learned earlier in life? You might want to journal around experiences that prompted that patterning. And what would balanced personal power look like for me? I think understanding your patterns is often the first step towards living with more clarity and more intentionality. So on Tuesday, we'll look at this theme through relaxation, a guided relaxation. And so I look forward to seeing you then. Okay, bye-bye.